Marvel's Snapshot initiative in comics is a little bit different. Instead of just being standalone stories focusing on the superheroes, we see how everyday lives of regular people are affected by the superheroes they come in contact with. Today we're looking at Marvel's Snapshot, Captain America. So the first thing I found interesting about this is the fact that it takes us all the way back to Madbomb. Now, of course, some of you might recall that Madbomb was something that happens in New York that essentially makes the everyday person sort of like a mindless attack drone, almost like a zombie but without the flesh eating. And Madbomb was at one point going to be the plot of the third Captain America film, so it was interesting to see it get brought all the way back around to that. So while the Madbomb is in New York, we see a bunch of angry New Yorkers, which at any point could really be mistaken for the 5 o'clock traffic people in New York, and they just happen to be at each other's throats. We get Captain America and the Falcon right there in New York trying to help out the situation, and this is when we're introduced to the character of Felix, somebody who is from the South Bronx. And this story ends up going a little bit more personal, involving his life, some of the money, costs, and repairs that will have to go back into restoring New York to its glory. And what really caught me by surprise was the fact that they talk about all the damage that's been done by these superheroes. They even talk about medical bills and how one is going to afford this. Yeah, it was a little weird, I will say that. Because I mean, how many times have you joked, oh man, the insurance in New York City for these superheroes where New York is attacked every 4 days by a giant monster? Yeah, they talk about that here. And also, while we're talking about Madbomb still and the economics of this, AIM does play a pretty important part in this since they were part of the original arc. And while I won't go into everything and spoil the story for you, yeah, you can pretty much guess how it goes considering that everything is fine. But I will say, as a Captain America comic, it does exactly what a Captain America comic should do. It is political, it is social, and it has a bunch of commentary. And Captain America at its core has always been about the politics. And as I said earlier, it was nice to see sort of how they address the whole situation of superheroes, collateral damage, and what happens with it, and how the everyday normal person has to deal with the situation. Overall, I would recommend this to people of Captain America, to people that want a little bit more of an inside look into the workings of some of these smaller characters in the Marvel Universe, as this does tell a pretty good story of how these heroes can affect everyday lives in these stories that we've seen from their point of view. Overall, I was very satisfied with this comic, and I would recommend it to the most hardcore or even the avid Captain America fan. Or maybe for somebody looking for something a little bit more different. If you're looking for the next big event setup, you're not going to find that here. This is way more of a personal story that gets down to the core of Captain America's influence on the people around him.